Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another very exciting episode of Guapish Rule 34. As always, I am being joined today by our host, Tanner, who puts the T in LGBT.
I'm gonna kill myself.
And, of course, we've also got the boy, the reality-shattering boy who will tickle your funny bone, and the enigmatic enforcer of eccentricity, and the reigning champion of chaos himself, Jackson.
I am going to die one day in a horrible car accident!
Oh my god. And finally, since it is Black History Month, we do have our token black as well. Dylan.
Hey there, everybody. It's good to be here.
Fantastic. Holy shit, guys. It's a leap year this year.
Oh, yeah. I constantly forget about that fact. Isn't it crazy that we can just throw on a day every 4 years and just call it good?
Mm-hmm. But every 500 years, we don't throw on that day.
What?
That's actually true, Dylan.
I've never heard of this before.
If it's a year divisible by 500, then you don't add the day.
Oh.
I hate our calendar system.
Well, listen, you're gonna have to blame the fact that the Earth doesn't go in a perfectly divisible orbit around the sun. So.
I mean, yeah, I kind of figured that much.
I mean, maybe not perfectly divisible in our current structure, Tanner. If we reworked our entire idea of time, then maybe it would be perfectly divisible, you know?
Nico, how many of the planets do you think you can name in order?
In order?
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit.
Hopefully you can name all of them, but...
You'd think so. It gets a little, muddy there, after Mars, I'd say.
What?
Okay.
So I guess, so Mercury, obviously. We have Venus, Earth, Mars. Fuck, this is where it gets tough.
We're 4 in, let's go!
I don't think I know the order off the top of my head after this.
Yeah, what comes after that?
I want to say Uranus is after Mars.
I was gonna guess Saturn.
Yeah, it's definitely Saturn or Uranus.
For some reason,
I'll
Saturn yells 7th planet from the sun energy. I don't know why my brain is...
That doesn't sound right.
It sounds right to me, but then again...
It's Jupiter? There's no fucking way it's
That's
Jupiter
impossible.
next.
Dude,
Fuck
Jupiter's
you,
my
Jupiter.
favorite planet. Jupiter's goated.
Why is Jupiter so close? That doesn't make any sense.
Because it's fucking goated, Tanner. Did you ever think of that?
Why is Jupiter your favorite?
I don't know.
It's big.
Because he gets more stupider.
Yeah, it's like it's the biggest planet in our solar system. It's got 67 moons or something. It's not the surface you see isn't the planet surface. It's just a huge sandstorm. It's got the highest gravity out of all the planets. It's pretty sweet, man.
Man, I didn't know that Neptune was that far out. That's fucking crazy.
Neptune's
Right.
pretty far out. I think it's a weird concept that people may know all the planets in the solar system, but when they're posed to answer in what order we just did, it's not as easy.
Because who fucking cares?
That's also true. When is the alignment of the planets going to affect us?
I think knowing what the universe around you is roughly is probably worthwhile information to have.
How is that helpful at all? What am I going to do with that?
Listen, man, if you only had information that was sure to be imminently helpful to you, you wouldn't know anything. And then you'd look like a fucking idiot.
That's a dumb way of looking at knowledge, Tanner.
Tanner, that's me. That's the embodiment of me, though, Tanner.
But when would knowing the order of the planets ever be helpful unless you're on a quiz show?
Yeah.
I just think that having a broad amount of knowledge is generally useful regardless of the specific knowledge you happen to have. Just for no other reason, if for no other reason, rather, than so you don't look like an imbecile.
I think everybody has a different definition of broad general knowledge, because I think what's general knowledge to me is definitely not general knowledge to you.
Tanner's the type of guy to learn a bunch of random useless facts to have a superiority complex over people that don't need them.
I did literally read a dictionary for this very reason.
Oh, good lord. That's crazy, Tanner. I would have never guessed.
Yeah, we got different priorities.
Until we're bothered with space travel and actually traveling to each planet, I don't think we need to worry about the order in which they are placed.
We personally, or the royal we?
Yes.
He doesn't know what the royal we means.
He doesn't.
See, this is what I'm talking about, though. When would I ever know what the royal we means? And now he looks like an idiot on a podcast on the internet.
We is the 4 of us. The royal we is all the people in my head. Don't worry about it.
What's bro on about?
What is
Speaking of all the people in Dylan's head, I've been wondering something, boys. So, I want to task you with a little thought experiment here real quick, okay?
Uh-oh.
Yippee, my favorite.
So, we've got a bunch of famous people throughout history, you know? Folks like Genghis Khan, Albert Einstein, you know, fucking Thomas Edison, all these great people throughout history who, like, you know, if you just ask some random schmo, they'll know who the fuck you're talking about. Do we have anyone like that who's currently living today who will be revered in that same sort of light in like 100 years from now, do you think?
Morgan Freeman.
I don't think Morgan Freeman.
Terrible answer.
That's not a terrible answer. That's the first answer that popped in my head.
Epstein.
Maybe?
If Elon Musk ever successfully lands a human on Mars, I'll think he'll be one of those people.
Elon Musk is one of the ones that came to mind for me, yeah.
Are we just thinking about people with lots of money or like things they did?
No, it's like people who are doing something fucking important, okay? Something noteworthy in human history. The problem is, like, with a lot of those older people, it just kind of was much more common back then that, like, the discoverer of something could be, like, a single guy, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, because we're dealing with stuff that it has built on all those discoveries, we're in a realm where things are so complicated that you have to have teams of people doing shit. And, you know, the only way that discoveries that were created by teams, you know, end up getting credit to one person is if that person has an ego and they're like, yeah, I'm the one. I did all the work, actually.
I mean, yeah, like these sorts
That
of
was
like
me.
these sorts of like teams and stuff like that usually do have like a face of them, you know?
Yeah.
Like Sam Altman.
Yeah, exactly, like Sam Altman.
There we go.
Like,
Sam Altman will get remembered forever.
like with the like with that like picture of the black hole, for example. Like it was that lady. She was like the face of that whole thing. Like her looking at the camera, smiling next to a telescope or whatever the fuck.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
You don't remember when like some scientists took a picture of a black hole, so we finally got to see what one looked like?
The last space thing I remember is when we successfully landed a satellite on an asteroid and the scientist was wearing like some fucking waifu t-shirt on air.
Oh.
Him! He's gonna be the next great person. That guy.
How long ago was this?
I don't know, recently. I think there's a decent chance that, like, if there's someone who is a face to the team of people that successfully figure out quantum computing, they'll go down in history as, like, this great person. I don't think any of our recent president... I mean, I think Donald Trump will get remembered more than most presidents, but not in the same way that, like, these other people are remembered, you know?
Fair
I don't think
enough.
he's going to be revered, let me say.
Yeah.
Unless the revolution happens and he becomes our new first president.
Yeah.
First.
You know, if Argentina turns into a fucking utopia and spreads libertarianism throughout the world, I'm sure Javier Milei, or whatever the fuck his name is, will get remembered.
There we go.
I'm not thinking of anyone where I'm really like, yeah, that, oh, you know what? This is a stupid answer, but probably also the most realistic one. Joe Rogan.
Oh, what?
Joe Rogan.
I think he'll get remembered, honestly.
I disagree.
I don't know enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm not gonna say anything.
I think the layman, he's just some dude.
I think the layman watches his show, frankly.
True. Yeah, I really don't know about Joe Rogan.
It's
like,
possible.
he's big, but, like, I don't know if he's that big, you know?
We'll see with this new Spotify deal he has, where he's no
Exactly.
longer exclusive to Spotify. He's going to be on YouTube again.
Fucking
Whoa.
finally, dude. I miss the days of just, like, scrolling through YouTube and seeing, like, random Joe Rogan clips. And I'm like, oh, I like this clip. Oh, check out the full episode. Then I go check out the full episode. I can't do that anymore with this new shit, so I just look at, like, who he's been interviewing. It's like, I don't know any of these fucking people. I don't care.
I think they still upload clips to YouTube, I'm pretty sure.
At the very least, they don't pop up in my feed anymore, so it's tough to say, you know?
There you go. YouTube isn't promoting them anymore. They're butthurt about him leaving.
They're suppressing him.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Do you think the brainwashing is strong enough that fucking Zelensky gets remembered like that?
Probably not. I don't think so.
I sure hope not. I don't need to keep seeing that fucker playing the piano with his dick anymore. It's
What?
ridiculous. Interesting. Dylan, what do you know about Zelensky?
This is the first time I'm hearing this person's name.
That's not possible.
Tanner, you've said this before. I'm not going to have this argument with you again.
It's like actually not possible.
Let me see. Should I even Google this person?
Hold on. Before you Google it, like, who do you think he possibly could be? Vladimir Zelensky, that's his name.
Is he a Russian political figure?
No.
I don't know.
Close to Russia, but not quite.
Ukrainian political figure?
Yes, he's the current president of Ukraine. You've heard this man's name. It's literally impossible you have not heard his name.
Maybe like
there is no conceivable way where the news. I mean, you know that Russia and Ukraine are at war right now. Yes.
Yeah, I was in the gym when it happened. When it happened? Or when it started, I guess. Whatever. You know what I meant.
Where were you when Ukraine and Russia went to war?
That was an intense 45 minutes, let me tell you.
I was in the gym for more than 45 minutes. Come on.
Oh my god.
Listen.
You're aware they're still at war, right?
I kind of wasn't. I thought it was over.
Dude.
I figured since everybody stopped talking.
How do you do it, Dylan?
I don't.
I couldn't avoid this news if I wanted to. How are you pulling it off, man?
He's not terminally online.
I don't use social media either. It's in the air, this stuff.
I don't know, man. I don't talk to people about news or politics.
Oh my god. It's almost a superpower, you know?
Well, listen, if you live like me, it's probably possible, but you've been exposed to the avenues, and it's probably just a natural habit at this point. It's just like, for me, it's a natural habit to not be informed or aware of any of these things.
That's one way of putting it.
Are you aware that we, the United States, have entered another war? Like, within the last week?
Kind of.
Okay. Who do you think it's with, Dylan? Who would you guess?
Didn't we bomb a country for no reason?
Well, it's not for no reason, but
I heard
also
it was
kind
for no
of
reason.
We do that all the time.
I heard it was for a dumb reason that accomplished nothing.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. I thought it was like Yemen or something.
No, we've been bombing Yemen. That's been going on for a while.
I don't know. I don't remember the place. I just remember hearing it happened.
I believe it's wait. Now I'm mixed up. It's either Iran or Iraq. I can't remember.
I think
it's Iran.
That's old news, buddy.
Not true.
Iraq and Iran's been going on. What are you, crazy?
No, they haven't.
Dylan's confusing all of his Middle Eastern countries.
I'm not confusing them. I just kind of assume there's always war going on over there.
True.
There is.
But not with us, and that's the important thing.
Yeah.
That the general summary is they're just angry people who constantly need to be fighting people.
Dylan, were you even aware that China conquered Hong Kong recently?
Kind of.
Okay.
I don't...
Dylan, where is Hong Kong?
Isn't it on the eastern side of China?
Probably.
Or is that Beijing? That might have been Beijing. I don't remember.
Well, it's part of China now, either way.
Well, yeah. Well,
is Hong Kong an island?
No, I don't believe so.
No.
I don't think China has... I think the closest island to China is Japan.
I'm pretty sure. No, China has island. China has been like building artificial islands that they can control.
What do you mean build? How did they just been dumping dirt and sand into the ocean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, actually, because they want to extend how far out that their their waters extend past them, so they just build these fucking islands.
Yeah, like Dubai or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Hong Kong. Where are you? Oh, sorry. The closest island was Taiwan. I lied.
Yeah.
I don't even... Where the hell
And they don't have them yet.
They're trying, man. They're trying.
They sure are. Those wacky Chinese.
Yeah.
Oh boy, they're so funny.
Huh.
Dylan, did you hear that Mongolia got wiped off the face of the earth?
No.
It's no longer there.
Yeah, there was like a massive earthquake that caused huge like mudslides and shit like that. It just destroyed the country.
I know.
And then
a
giant Mongolian death worm rose out of the fucking ashes, and it's rampaging across Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
I know that there was an earthquake in Japan, but it didn't really look like it was very effective, which is just kudos to the earthquake
developers.
Science. Listen, man.
That's all they do in that country. They're just making video games over there.
That's true.
Their nimble fingers are able to pluck away at the keys so quickly.
I gotta say, I was watching the clips of when the earthquake was rolling through Japan, and it's really like a wonder to see just the earthquake technology going to work. It's really really fascinating, at least for somebody like me.
And by earthquake technology, you of course mean the machine built by Jews that can cause earthquakes, right?
Well, at least we're on this theory instead of, like, whatever the fuck you guys said last time, like, giants punching the crust from under, like, standing on the mantle or some stupid shit like that.
Well, listen, obviously the giants are Jews, come on. They're the 13th tribe of Israel.
Well, Tandy, you also think that the Jews are fucking aliens, so which is it, dude?
Yeah. You could be giant aliens.
Listen, aliens was just, like, the best word I could use to describe it to you.
They are alien to us.
Yeah, they're alien to us. They're actually interdimensional travelers. They're not coming from outer space. They live on an alternate Earth that exists on the same plane of reality as us, but and then the giants cross over into the Under-Earth, which is where the portal to the alternate dimension is.
I bet that's where the flat Earth exists, too.
Mm-hmm.
You see, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want our movie rewrites to be.
Yeah, it's great.
Just make an entirely different movie.
I was kind of right about Hong Kong. It's like southeast, very, very southeast. Wasn't Hong Kong loyal to China? What the heck's going on with that?
No. Hong Kong was a British protectorate for a long time.
Oh.
And then there was an agreement where Britain was like, okay, China, we'll give you the city back. And then the people in Hong Kong were like, well, we kind of like democracy. Can we not be given back to China? And Britain's like, we signed a piece of paper 70 years ago, so get fucked, I guess. And then China, I think they killed everyone in Hong Kong, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, they had enough people to just kind of like move them in there, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't remember if it was Hong Kong or Beijing that was the democratic part of China. I knew it was one of the two.
It was Hong Kong.
Yeah, 100%.
Keyword was.
Yeah. No,
actually...
Yeah.
So it was like a big thing, the Battle of Hong Kong, where a bunch of college students had boarded up their college and were fighting, like, the military.
Oh.
Did they all die? I actually never heard how that ended.
I can only assume they had died.
Yeah, I assume they all got brained, so, R.I.P. to the freedom fighters, power to the people.
China 100% has no chill out of pretty much everywhere on the planet.
You know what? I'd agree with that. I'd say China is the least chill country on the planet.
Oh, man.
So, when you guys were, like, growing up, when you were little tykes here, okay? Did you ever have, like, any urban legends or, like, little myths that spread throughout, like, your school and shit like that?
I mean, we all had there's a secret swimming pool in the basement of the school.
Yeah. Well, ours wasn't in the basement in my middle school. It was, the fucking, like, upstairs gym was in a secret swimming pool. Even though, how the fuck would that work? It's right above the boys' locker room.
Right.
Yeah, I can't say that I really did. Middle school, maybe, but we kind of just got into everything at my middle school, so...
Like
any
what?
Myths, like any doorways or like places we probably shouldn't or couldn't get into, or we kind of just debunked things for ourselves, so there wasn't really myths per se to spread rumors about that weren't soon discovered by ourselves.
When I was in fucking elementary school, there was this myth that a kid told me. They were like, you see that house over there on the hill? If you stare at it for too long, an earthquake will start.
How long did you stare at it after he told you that?
Maybe like a minute. And I was like, I don't think that's
it's gotta
true.
Be longer than that.
Yeah, as you guys can probably imagine, being in a Catholic elementary school, there weren't really that many rumors to go around, so...
Jesus is living in the attic. They keep him chained up there.
I don't know how believable. That building was so old, and I'm pretty sure it was just a big old block of building. There was nothing else to it.
A big old block of building.
It was 100% brick. Can't hide nothing in those things.
If you try to jerk off with your rosaries, the devil will kidnap you.
Just kidnap you? What does he do with you after that?
No one knows.
It's a mystery. He just keeps you.
What about you, Jackson? Myths?
No.
Damn. Legends?
No.
Damn.
Fables, even?
No.
What about a romp of stories? How about that?
Romp of stories?
I couldn't formulate the sentence.
Yeah, do you have any rousing anecdotes you'd like to tell us, Jackson, about your youth?
In elementary school, we had like an acorn grove or something. It was like an orchard, basically, next to the play park, and the teachers always told us to not go out there. But of course, we're a bunch of elementary schoolers, and we desperately wanted to go out there, so we did. Like every recess, we just run around in the trees and piss off the owner of the orchard and get the teachers to freak out at us.
Oh, you're talking about the
good.
hazelnut orchard?
Yeah, it was some type of fucking nut.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That is pretty funny.
Here's my terrible story. I mean, Jackson's was good. I just mean mine's terrible. This was in middle school. Me and my friends were, leaving the school. We were walking away, and there's an old Little Caesars pizza box on the ground. My friend's like, I'm gonna jump on the pizza box. And so he jumps on the pizza box, but the top half detaches from the bottom half and fucking takes his legs out from under him, and he does a full flip and then hits his head. But he was okay. But we were like, Jesus, that's fucking funny as fuck.
What do you guys think is the most embarrassing way you've gotten hurt?
Oh, man. Actually, this story involves you, Nico. This is like the only story that comes to mind.
My story
so it was-
also involves you, funnily enough.
God, I wonder if we're gonna... There's no way we can tell the same story here. So basically, it was out at the country house that I lived in. And, yeah, so we had, recently, raked and everything. And since there's trees and shit everywhere, there's big-ass piles of shit everywhere. So we were playing tag, and I feel like when we were younger, there was constantly a competition between me and Nico as to who was faster. And we both said each of us was faster, and Nico was constantly trying to prove that he was faster. So whenever Nico was he went after me to prove a point. So I was running, and I saw this pile of, twigs and leaves and shit. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna run full speed, I'm gonna beat him, and I'm gonna jump over this and make it look epic. So I'd leap over the pile of twigs and shit, land on the other side. I cleared it. It was 3 feet. And then I'd fucking twisted and blasted out my ankle after I landed. And then Nico proceeded to run by and tag me, even though I was writhing in pain on the ground.
You deserved it.
That's so like
This
him.
is exactly what I'm talking about. Nico, tell your bullshit story, man.
So what happened was that I was a little boy, okay? I was in fucking, my early days of middle school, 6th grade or some shit like that. I was at this big-ass park that my mom would work at every now and then at our big old church, And so my mom told me, hey, by the way, Dylan's gonna be here later. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And then eventually Dylan shows up, and I was like, holy shit, it's Dylan. I have someone to actually play with now. And so I start tearing through the place, running to go greet him. And as I was doing so, I fucking kicked a metal chair as I was brushing by it and destroyed my pinky toe. It was shattered into a million pieces, okay? I was in agony. But a week later, I was feeling a little more revitalized, I was able to walk around the house and stuff like that. And so as I was going downstairs to, I don't know, fucking grab my laundry or some shit, I take a corner a little too wide, I guess, and I end up slamming my other foot into one of our sofas, shattering that pinky toe as well.
Actually shattering, or is this hyperbole?
It was broken or something. I don't know. It's tough to say.
Well, you didn't go to the hospital,
I didn't go to the hospital for either one, no. What are they gonna do? It's a pinky toe.
They can cast it.
Yeah, wrap your foot up and cast it, dude. Come on.
It's one toe.
All it takes
Also,
is
one other thing that happened when I was in middle school. So, Jackson, I don't know if you remember this at all, but in cross country, okay, we would have one race where when we were coming back, it would be super late, and so we would stop by this big area that had a bunch of fast food places. Do you remember this? You recall it at all?
Vaguely, yes.
It was right across the street from a sex shop.
I don't remember that part of it.
Okay. I was fucking pumped, okay? I had my money that my mom gave me to eat some motherfucking Wendy's, okay? So when those doors opened up, I hopped on out, and I was ready, dude. I was running through the fucking parking lot, okay? Little did I know, though, it had recently rained that day, so the parking lot was a little wet. And as a result, I immediately ate shit, and I got this massive-ass scar on my leg. It hurt a lot, okay? It was pretty rough. I didn't want to tell anyone, though, because it was really embarrassing. They're like, hey, I was so excited to eat Wendy's, I just injured myself. And so I was just riding home on the bus the entire time with my leg fucking bleeding. And when I got home, I again didn't want to tell my parents about this embarrassing event, so I just threw a bunch of bandages on and called it a day. Only recently did that scar finally start to heal, not heal, but completely fade. You can't really see it now, but for a long ass time I had a big ass scar on my leg for that.
The pride of a
Pretty good.
boy.
I've got a minor injury embarrassing story and a major injury embarrassing story.
Or one of these you fucking like pulling your shoulder or whatever from jerking off.
No. It's not that.
About
Okay.
My minor injury story is I was making myself, I believe, a bologna sandwich, and I was using a butter knife, you know, very dull butter knife, and as I'm putting, like, mayo on the sandwich, and now that I'm thinking of it, I have no idea how I managed to do this, but I think as I'm cutting the sandwich in half, somehow something goes horribly wrong, and I literally, like, slice my thumb open with a butter knife. I don't know how I managed to do that, but now I have mayonnaise in my blood, I guess. And then my major one is the first time I ever dislocated my shoulder, which is I was in gym class freshman year of high school. We were doing some sort of, like, you know, free day where it was like you could either play volleyball or basketball. I, being a man, decided to play basketball. So there I was, balling it up and whatnot, and I go to take a shot, and I jump up, and right at that same second, a volleyball has rolled onto our court. I land on top of the volleyball. Naturally, it takes my feet out from under me, and I land on my shoulder, like, with my full fucking weight, like I'm falling, you know?
God.
And that just, it pops it right out.
Yeah.
And I had never had my shoulder dislocated before, so I didn't know what was going on. I'm just like, oh man, my shoulder really fucking hurts. And the gym teacher's like, you okay? I'm like, I don't, probably not. They're like, can you try lifting your shoulder? And I get, like, you know, like halfway up. I'm like, I think that's as far as I could take it. I'm like, yeah, you should go see the nurse. And then the fun ending to that story is that, you know, I go see the nurse. They're like, yeah, your shoulder's dislocated. So my mom picks me up, takes me to the hospital. And then as we're in the waiting room of the hospital, she's talking to the person at the front so we can get checked in or whatever. And I sit down in one of the waiting room chairs. And I'm like, I want to rest my dislocated arm up on, you know, the armrest. I want to rest my arm on the armrest of the chair. So I grab my dislocated hand and I pull it up to, like, set it down on the thing, and then it just pops back in when I do that. And so my mom is there talking to the person. She's like, yeah, his shoulder's dislocated. We need to get into the emergency room or whatever. And I'm like, hey, Mom, it just popped back in. She's like, okay. And then, you know, they checked me out to make sure things were fine. And they were, but there you go.
And your mom had to pay $8,000 for them to check out your arm.
Exactly, yeah. Dude, fuck, I mean, I've already told that story, but anyway.
Jackson.
I feel like I've told all of mine on the podcast before. Like, I'm 100% sure I've said I can't speak. The pogo stick one. I'm pretty sure I've told the stapler one. I don't
What's
really know
the pogo stick one? I don't recall this.
I was on a pogo stick, and I was trying to jump from the top of a slanted driveway to the bottom because my younger friends at the time, were saying that they were able to do it, so they, you know, goaded me into attempting it as well. And I landed on the bottom. I cleared the jump, and then it slipped up from behind me. And I ate shit. It smashed my skull very hard on the pavement.
Oh.
Jesus.
You're lucky to still be alive here, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Maybe I changed that day. Who knows? Maybe I would have been a different person
I changed.
if that didn't happen.
He was actually a woman before that.
Yeah.
It caused his
Recap
nose
the-
to swell, and it's maintained that size ever since.
Cool. The stapler one pretty quick. We were doing some arts and crafts shit in elementary school, and I stapled my thumb by accident, and then I got sent to the ER because of that. That was fun. They, like, injected me with all sorts of shit to numb the pain, and I remember my dad taking me home. And I was just, like, constantly rubbing my thumb against everything because I couldn't feel it, so it was just, I was, like, just constantly smashing against everything. I don't know if I ever told this one, but there was we were camping and we were staying at these, like, little, like, wooden huts. Well, not like yurts, like a little fancier than yurts, but they had this, like, massive, thick wooden doors, and I slammed one of my fingers in it accidentally,
God.
and over the course of like a week or something, the fingernail on that finger just slowly started to disconnect itself.
Oh my
to
God.
the point where I could like open and close it like a clamshell, basically. And then of course at some point it ended up just popping off, and I just didn't have a fingernail on that finger for a while until I grew back.
How long did it take to grow back?
I have no idea. This was in elementary school. I don't remember the details.
Oh my god!
But I do remember like constantly opening and closing it. Like, look how cool this is.
This is sweet as hell, Mom. Have you seen this?
Look at all this
Yeah.
extra storage I
You're like
have.
those kids that can flip their eyelids inside out.
God,
Dude, I
hated
hated
that
those
so much,
kids.
dude.
Fuck those kids, honestly.
We all had those kids.
Yeah. Last one, I guess. This one's stupid as fuck, and I still hate it. But it was when I was in, this was junior year of high school. I was a big high jumper. That was all I did. I literally did track exclusively to do the high jump. It was my only event. I was like the only person in the entire fucking team, or the entire, like, everything of track that only did one event, because there was the minimum requirement was 2. I was practicing for high jump one day, and I jumped over the bar, and I landed on the mat, and it knocked the wind out of me hard as fuck. I was like, what the hell just happened? And then I could not even stand up afterwards, and it dislocated one of my fucking ribs, apparently, as I landed.
Oh, shit.
And it took me out for the entire season. I couldn't do anything. I could, like, barely breathe without it being painful for, like, over a month. I went for, like, a masseuse and everything to try to get it, like, pop back in place. And it did fix it. It kind of went over eventually. I went to a chiropractor for a while, too, because of that. It fixed itself eventually, thankfully. But that issue still, like, randomly will resurface where, like, suddenly it feels like a fucking rib dislocates or something, and then it's just really hard to breathe and move or do anything. It happens, like, maybe a couple times a year now. Pretty exciting stuff.
Oh my god. I didn't even know you could dislocate ribs.
Yeah, I thought they were all... I know they're not all connected, but...
I also have scoliosis. Let me add that there, which probably doesn't help the issue.
Yeah, probably not.
Did you ever have to wear a back brace?
No, my scoliosis is pretty minor.
Okay.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's not like, it doesn't affect my daily life mostly, it's just kind of cosmetic. I'd assume, I don't know, maybe there's some fucked up shit that I'm dealing with that other people don't have to.
It's impossible to say.
True.
Alright, so, we've been railing against each other a little hard on this episode, okay? Particularly Tanner against Dylan here, alright, you know?
Well...
So...
It's all in peace and love.
Yeah, something like that.
I want to spread the love a little more and start a bit of a circle jerk here, okay? Just like a nice little something for us to, like, you know, give each other an attaboy or something, alright?
It's all making
So
sense
here's
now.
a question I wish to pose to you guys. What is, like, an attribute that, like, of each other person here that you wish you yourself had, you know? So I guess, I'll start here, okay? I'll start so you guys can think on it a little bit. For Tanner, I wish I had his confidence, you know?
I was gonna say that, you son of a bitch. I also want Tanner's confidence.
Are we gonna not double up? Is that the rule here?
I think it'd be better to not double up.
Alright.
I'm screwed.
You can mention that you would also go with that and then come up
you
with
can
an alternate.
do that, yeah. Because, like, you know, I feel like I'm able to float by decently well with my faux confidence that I, you know, kind of posture myself with. But I wish I had a more authentic thing going on there, you know? I feel like, you know... It'd just show through a lot better if it were real instead of, you know, not real. As for Dylan, I wish I had your, like, ability to just, like, enjoy things.
Yeah, that is a thing that a lot of people say. So,
Cause, like, I'm for my age, I'm far too jaded and cynical already, to be perfectly honest. I wish I was able to just, like, sit down and enjoy a fucking, like, game or movie and not think about it too much.
yeah.
And as for Jackson, I guess, like, the biggest thing would be, like, your money savviness, particularly with, like, investing, because, like, that's a whole world that I want to get into at some point. It just seems so fucking daunting, though. I just wish I could immediately sap all of that knowledge from your brain and put it into my own.
Well, too bad. I'm not gonna teach you.
Damn.
You already know that I want Tanner's confidence, because he really does just exude confidence. And I have, like, the opposite of that. It's getting better, but, you know, not anything to that level. But I guess I'd probably say I want his initiative, maybe. Tanner, you seem like the type of guy that, like, tries to, like, get stuff done, you know. I was impressed by you, like, immediately just, like, going and, like, finding jobs and getting that shit done. You, like, go out of your way to, like, learn stuff all the time. I like that. I think it's a good quality of you. Dylan, I think I'd probably want your trustingness. This is kind of like the same thing with Nico. I feel like I'm really fucking jaded, and I find it really hard to actually like genuinely trust people. And maybe this is just like the vibe I'm getting from you. Maybe it's not true. Maybe you're also like super jaded. You don't trust people at all. But you seem like you're like a really just like cool, like, easy to get to know guy that like is pretty easy to like have, gain trust with people. I wish I had that as well. I find that very hard for me. Nico, what the fuck do I want from you?
Exactly, there's too much to choose from. How do you pick just one?
No, dude, we're two similar people is the problem, so it's hard to decide specifically what I'd want from you. I guess I want your creativity. I think you're a more creative person than me. I think you've got an eye for art stuff that I don't, and I think that'd be useful.
Sure ain't that useful to me, dude. I'm fucking living like a pauper over here right now. That art degree ain't doing shit for me.
Bro's making advertisements.
Wait, is it a popper or a poplar?
A popper, like the Prince and the Pauper.
I'm assuming
What the fuck is a poplar then?
Poplar is like the Doppler effect, but just for popping sounds.
Nico, can you explain to me the Doppler effect real quick?
Yeah, it's like sounds get quieter the further they are away.
That's not how the Doppler effect works.
Or no, it's like the way in which like it has something to do with sound and distance. I forget what exactly it is.
I like the idea we have a fancy name for the concept that if you're further away from something, it's quieter.
No, why is the Doppler effect so popular?
You guys probably took my top 2 for Dylan as well.
Let's go.
So I'll go with the thing when I'm thinking of your guys, I don't know how to phrase them succinctly in like a single word, but
I don't know how to phrase them, make them sound nice, and all like I'm shitting on you guys.
I wish I was a retard like you.
Balls.
Ignorance is bliss, to be perfectly honest. I wish I was fucking stupid like you are.
No, I was gonna say, I wish I had Dylan's ability to roll with the punches. I feel like you deal with unfortunate circumstances in your life much better than most people. And like for me, when things start going wrong, I start like flipping the fuck out. And I wish I could deal with it better like you do. Nico, I think his creativity is like the obvious thing to go with, but I don't really want that. I'd say, I want Nico's time management. He's very good at knowing what he wants to do when and doing those things at those times. And sometimes it annoys us with how persnickety he is with when he'll do things, but I can respect it at the same time.
Dude, that's because of the autism.
Okay.
And for Jackson, the joke answer is I want your money. The real answer... The real answer... The other joke answer is I want your metabolism. The real answer...
You can't have them. I want them.
I want your cats. No, that's the third joke answer. Now, let me think. What do I think of when I think of Jackson? This one might come off a bit odd to you, but I want your ability to make friends easily. And I have a feeling you'd kind of disagree with me there. But I'm specifically thinking of how many online friends you have. Like, for me, pretty genuinely speaking, you three are kind of my only friends I have. I do not have an easy time making friends online or in real life. So I think that's the thing from you I'd want.
Fair enough. I do connect with people online very easily, and it kind of, like, chains itself as, like, I meet somebody through another online friend, and that like builds off into something. I've got like 1 million online friends I'd say are like a half as close as I am to you guys, which is a pretty substantial amount for an online friend, given you guys previously were roommates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we do a fucking weekly podcast.
Yeah, that would help.
There you go, Nico. I don't think those were too slight worthy,
We'll let the audience decide. I'll start a community poll.
Yeah, as for me, gosh, Tanner, I guess for you, I'd probably say your demeanor. You know, the way that you...
This feels a bit too close to saying my confidence, to be honest.
Nah, it's fine. I'll try to think of something else. Because, like, literally, this is what sucks about being the last person. You gotta pick the thing that...
And that's why I forced myself to go second.
I don't know why. Like, for some reason, the one answer that keeps flashing in my head is I want Tanner's intimidation.
I like
his
that.
ability to intimidate people. Not necessarily...
I think some people would take that as an insult, but I'm taking it as a great honor.
No, because I feel like having some sense of intimidation gives you a point of authority where people don't like to joke around with you too much because you might murder them.
They'll rip your fucking head off.
I like how I like how you're saying I come across like that when I'm an incredibly non-violent person. I've literally never hurt anyone in my life intentionally. Well, out of malice, let me say. You know, I've slapped a brother before, but you know, that's like normal stuff. I've like genuinely never been in like a serious physical altercation with anyone. And even when people are making me mad, I'm usually the one to back off and say, I don't want to fight.
Yeah, exactly. Nico, as for you, I like your argumentative skills. You kind of just come up with the most random bullshit, and it either works out extremely well in your favor, or it stalls enough time for you to get the bullshit answer that you want.
You want his improv skills.
I guess that's another way of saying it.
Is Nico a debate me bro?
Yeah.
The answer may surprise you. Yes. But actually, no, I'm not. Please don't try and debate me down in the comments about anything.
He'll cry.
I will weep.
Lastly, for Jackson, I don't know if this word portrays what I'm trying to get across, so I'll say it and then kind of explain. Jackson's, like, steadfastness, like, his ability to stick to his answer. Like, he doesn't back down. Like, if he says something... It doesn't matter what you try to... Like, it hardly ever works when you try to convince him otherwise. He has his mind made up, basically. Because I know, like, Jackson's like, yeah, no, it's not happening this way. It's either this way or, you know, whatever.
The highway.
He just
Jackson
doesn't care.
is our rock. He is the Peter of the four apostles of Guapish.
I thought you were going to say Peter Griffin.
Why would I say
that? I don't know why.
Huh? I also thought that.
What a bunch of bozos.
Well, there you go. Is that what you wanted, Nico? You fucking freak.
Yeah, there we go. We were all nice to each other for a little bit, for a solid 20 or so minutes.
I was
Holy
concerned
cow.
what circle jerk meant. I thought you had a story.
No.
Okay,
we can make a story right now about a circle jerk, though, as Tanner holds his chaos book in his hands.
I was going to say, I got one last short topic before we go on to the thing.
Yeah, sure. Is it about chaos?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention my book and spur a little conversation. I've started reading this book here, Chaos by Tom O'Neill.
Holy shit, this can actually start a topic that I wanted to bring forward here real quick. Don't worry, Tanner. This has to do with your own thing that you're talking about right now here, okay? So, you guys may have heard me mention the official podcast here and there, okay? On their channel, they do this thing every now and then called the Things We Like Corner, because they too are cynical assholes. And so I thought it could be nice for us to just have a moment to talk about some things that we like as well. Each of us just mentions a thing that we're currently enjoying, you know? And so, Tanner, take it away with Chaos Theory.
I didn't really want to talk about the book itself, to be honest. I was more using it to parlay into the things in the book. But you know what? Fuck it. I'll just do my bit and then we can do your bit.
Sure.
So Chaos is about the Charles Manson murders. Mm-hmm. And I had mentioned this in the general chat, but I figured it was worth bringing up on the podcast. The Charles Manson murders happened in 1969. So fucking, 30 years before I was even born. And it's something you hear about just, through pop culture and stuff. But reading this book, I realized, I didn't really know anything about the Manson murders. Like, I had the if you had asked me before I read this book to explain what the Manson murders were, I would be like, oh yeah, Charles Manson was like a hippie dude that convinced a bunch of hippies to kill Sharon Tate. And then this was a big deal in the 60s because murder wasn't very common or something. And that's, like, wildly inaccurate. That's, like, not what happened at all. So, I'm kind of cute. Like, I think I explained what really happened to you guys, but like before I post that explanation, would you say you had a solid grasp on what this event even was?
Okay, so here's the thing, Tanner. I definitely might have a decent grasp on it, or at least I did at some point, because at my work, I constantly listen to like these true crime podcasts and shit like that, and I've listened to one that covered the Charles Manson case extensively. The issue is that I listen to so many of these things that they all kind of just blend together after a while, so I really couldn't tell you how the Charles Manson events, like, differ from fucking Ted Bundy and shit, okay? It's all just the same shit in my mind at this point.
That's pretty funny. What about you, Jackson?
Nothing.
Ah. So, Nico, let me ask you that. If you had to guess, how many people were murdered by the Charles Manson family?
Dude, like 5?
It's like 10, I think.
Okay.
Oh.
It was the main event of it at Sharon Tate's house had 5 people. Which I thought it was just Sharon Tate, because really my only exposure to it is like knowing, not even seeing the movie, but knowing about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where they stop that from happening.
Yeah.
And I just heard about that movie, and they're like, oh, they save Sharon Tate. And they don't say they save Sharon Tate and the other 5 people that were in the house. They just say her. I'm like, okay, I guess they just killed her, and that was a big deal or something. But no, in that house alone, they killed 7 people, including Sharon Tate's baby in her stomach. So, and I didn't know she was pregnant even. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's really fucked up. Why'd you do that, Charles?
When you say murdered the baby, was it indirectly murdering, or like they...
No, they stabbed
her in the stomach.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Like, many times.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And when I'm reading the account of what happened, I'm also like, how the fuck... It took them weeks to catch these people, by the way. Even months, I think. And, like, 2 people managed to get out of the house and were running away, and they still this, like... It went unnoticed until the morning after when people showed up. I'm like, huh? What the fuck? Crazy. Like, they were using guns and stuff, and no one, like, reported it to the police.
The 60s were a
When do the
different
Beach
time.
Boys get involved here?
The Beach Boys get involved because the drummer was a drug addict who had a connection to a drug dealer who was also a music producer who had a connection to Charles Manson, who, Manson, like, played music, and he really wanted to make it in the music industry, and so that's how he knew that guy. And, the Manson family, like, crashed at the Beach Boy, house for a couple weeks until the guy was like, these people are fucking crazy and they might kill me, so he just left.
I thought that was a joke.
No, Nico, that was a true thing Nico just said.
Yeah, when you started rambling the facts, I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff so far. I haven't even gotten to the part where the CIA is involved. But yeah, it's interesting learning about this little event here and finding all this new shit out. Fuck, I had one other point I was gonna make, but oh yeah!
Don't trust the government.
Yes, of course. That goes without saying. But Roman Polanski, the director / pedophile. Wait, no, I'm thinking of the guy who did the X-Men movies. But I think probably him too. But anyways, he was married to Sharon Tate at the time, and he was filming a movie that I'm gonna somehow work into one of my themes someday. Called fuck, what was the name of it? Call of the Dolphin or something, or Dolphin at Arms or something. It's about like a dolphin being trained to assassinate the president, and that's what he was doing at the time that his wife was brutally murdered.
That's very silly.
Nice.
So I want to check that movie out.
See what he missed his wife's murder for.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you word it that way?
But as for Nico, so yeah, that's the book I'm reading.
There we go. That's the thing that Tanner liked. How about you, Dylan? What do you like? I'm going the order of which I see you guys here. I've
been really just trying to branch out in terms of like video games and stuff. There's a lot of games that I either need to catch up on. There's some new games that are rolling out that aren't necessarily big name that I want to give a chance. Really just trying to block out some time to finish up other games that have a definite end so I can get to the games that do not have a definite end.
So what's the game you like?
Right now it's been a lot of Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is gonna be, I think, like the second time I've ever finished a Pokedex in any of the Pokemon games. The first time being Soul Silver. That game was also fucking awesome. I love that game. It's probably one of my favorite Pokemon games ever. But yeah, just been having a lot of fun just grinding out Pokemon. I'm not irritated by it in any sense, which is strange because usually I get super irritated by a monotonous grind where it's kind of the same thing over and over again.
And you're not sick of Destiny yet? Jackson, how about you?
Oh, easily for me, it's probably So no Freyrin, aka Freyrin at the Funeral, aka Freyrin the Slayer, the anime that's currently airing right now. I read the manga of this for a little bit, and I was a big fan of it, but then I kind of fell off of it, not because I wasn't interested in it, but because I just stopped reading it for whatever reason. And the anime came out, and it's fucking awesome, and it's basically blown the manga out of the water. Its production quality is absurdly high. The animation is super, super pretty, gorgeous. Everything's really well rendered. The pacing is phenomenal. The story is just great overall. It literally has it's number one on Mal right now, which I don't think is necessarily deserved, especially because it hasn't finished the first fucking season yet. But I do think it's really good, and I'm a big fan of it. And this is the first time in a long time I've been so into an anime that I actually cannot wait for a next episode to come out.
Holy shit. Why is it called Freyrin at the Funeral?
Well, the English translation is stupid because it's not a translation. The English translation is Freyrin the Slayer.
Okay.
That's what the direct translation of So no Freyrin is. I don't know why the fuck they named it Freyrin at the Funeral for the actual English title. That's stupid. I don't know why they call it that.
That's pretty silly. Alright, I guess for mine here. So this is gonna sound a little cringe, okay? Just a little bit, alright? But it's actually a creepypasta. That came out a long ass time ago here. So, have you guys ever heard of Baraska before?
Possibly.
No.
So, yeah, it was like one of the most high profile creepypastas back in the day because it's insanely well written. It's really solid. And I found out that there's actually like a audio podcast for it. I don't know why I said audio podcast. There's a podcast for it that has like a crazy high production behind it. Fucking like Cole Sprouse is in it and shit like that. He's voicing like the main character. And it's just like a fucking reading through of it with like, hey, this is like a fucking audio play version of it. It's really fucking crazy. It is insanely dark. It goes to some really fucked up places where like you think it's like, it's like these kids hearing about like, these weird urban legends and stuff like that around their town. Well, think of all these like creepy shit like Skin Man. What the fuck is a Skin Man? Who's a shiny gentleman they're talking about? But then, these things that you think would actually just be like, it's a fucking creepypasta. It's just gonna be like some fucking weird, creepy thing that exists in the world. Whoa, how scary is that? But no, it's actually like really grounded, and the reality is much more horrifying than your imagination thought it was going to be. It's fucking sweet. Highly recommend it.
How often does adrenochrome get mentioned in it?
Never.
Damn.
And so that concludes the Things We Like corner, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe we'll do this again. Maybe not.
Can we do a Things We Hate corner?
That's every episode, Tanner. That's why I need to do Things We Like.
Speaking of things we love and hate.
Speaking of things we particularly hate.
Guapish at the movies!
I don't remember any of the songs from this week, actually. I'm not even gonna try.
Strange in the neighborhood.
Hey, good call! Ghostbusters! I'm sure that'll come.
Jackson, what we watched this week?
Our Patreon request for this week was Zoom, the 2006 film. Thank you, Lucas Adet, aka Dreadpower46, for recommending this movie. Please stop recommending movies. We've had enough.
Dude, this was like actually good though. What are you talking about?
I know this is one of his rare good picks. You know, this movie. Here, I'll be the one to explain. So basically, we've got a retired superhero, Zoom. He was back in the business. You know, he was crazy. He was popular. You know, he had comics made of him. And then one day, his brother fucking kills like his whole squad. Basically, he gets like banished to some like portal realm, and he retires because the trauma of that is just too much. He doesn't want to be in that scene anymore. Plus, there's also like some shady government stuff going on with like nuclear testing on these people, which is kind of fucked up. So basically, that moves to the present day where whatever the fucking guy's name I already forgot, Skull Smasher or something generic. He's stuck in the portal still, and he's about to come out. There's a time ticking; it's like a week or something, and the government has to put together a new team of superheroes to stop him. So they go and find some worthy picks, I guess. Mostly school children that they're picking that have superpowers, and they basically put them in a facility with their parents' consent, of course, and they train them up to be able to fight this guy. And then they fight him, and they win, because Zoom wasn't super into training them at the start, and then he has like some touching moments with them, figures out more about them as people, kind of gets invigorated about getting it done, and then they, as a team, solve it all. And they didn't even have to do any like radio nuclear testing on them. So that's Zoom, guys. What do we all think about Zoom?
Hold on. We're doing a new thing now. I have a haiku for every movie this week, and I think just after each thing, I'll just read my haiku for the movie.
Sure,
and you guys can tell me what you think of my haiku.
Go for it.
Oh, God.
So this is the haiku about Zoom.
Oh, man.
A super loser. A nonsense scheme. Doomed to fail.
Pretty
I don't know
silly.
Dylan.
that's what it was.
Dylan, what are your thoughts on Zoom?
I feel like you're calling me out for a specific reason.
No, I'm just picking you for no reason at all.
My specific thoughts on this movie is, in my own opinion, I think this is an upgraded version of, why can't I remember the name of the movie?
Sky
High. Yeah, I think this is an upgrade to Sky High, 100%.
100% agree with you.
I am hoping, for the sake of this movie and the rating I'm going to give it, that this movie is a big gag. They were just having a good time with it, because this movie did not feel like it took itself seriously almost at any point throughout the whole thing. The CGI was just kind of whatever.
I think it was great for the time. Honestly, I feel like it even still holds up fairly well today.
It was alright. I don't know, I guess there was pretty good character building. This movie made me realize how much a lot of our quote-unquote childhood actors aged. Also, I've never seen a fat suit look so weird on a kid before.
What do you mean? Dylan, how'd you like the fat jokes, by the way?
They were alright. I didn't care for them.
Dude, so like, we were cracking up quite a bit throughout this whole movie. Tanner is, like, very infamously, very much so against fat jokes. He fucking hates them. However,
I like them when they're funny. Just like they were in this movie.
Exactly. Yeah, I believe Tanner's exact quote was, "You know what? I think those were pretty tastefully done."
Oh, I mean, I didn't think they were bad, so if that's any consolation.
Dude, he was fucking wheezing when they were fucking trapped in that, like, capsule or whatever. And, like, Zoom was calling him a big fat ass or whatever. And then he just expanded and pressed him up against the window.
Yeah, that was one of the moments.
Tanner in stitches.
That was really one of the moments I was hoping that this movie wasn't taking itself seriously, because that moment in particular was extremely cringe, if not. Yeah, but there was a lot of actors that I recognized in this movie, which was really neat.
Shockingly star-studded cast for what for what they're going for with this film.
Yeah, the general guy was like the one main head guy from Men in Black. You got Tim Allen, obviously. The scientist chick is one of the main girls from Friends. And then the
star-studded, dude.
Yeah.
The one scientist guy is the dad from like Christmas. I don't remember, one of the old Christmas movies. Anyway,
he's like actually a big actor. He's all Chevy Chase. That's his name, Chevy Chase. He's also in like Community as well. Apparently, he's like a major asshole behind the scenes though, and takes himself like way too seriously, which is why he.
That's how you know he's funny.
Exactly. He's got the confidence. He knows what he's worth. Okay.
And I unfortunately built up my expectations at the end of the movie and expected a really epic, not an epic fight at the end, but I was a little let down at the end.
Why?
I don't know. It was just like the guy. I don't know. I couldn't take the fight seriously at all. Like, I think the only parts that were like, oh, that makes sense, is like the girls hitting him with the big metal pole, and then maybe the one expanded dude like bouncing him away. But other than that, the invisible guy just punches him in the face and then disappears when the guy could have very easily just done a concussion blast. And the one chick was just throwing rocks, in which he was like doing little punches to get him when he could very easily just punch in her general direction and just get it over with.
That sounds nitpicky.
I mean, I don't think, regardless of whether or not they're children, Jackson, they've proven that this guy is just turned evil and wants to fuck up everybody in sight.
I mean, he doesn't seem that evil. Like, he has a whole ass conversation with them when he first come out of the portal.
Well, evil doesn't mean he can't have conversation. Like, I'm just saying, like, evil, like, he wants to do harm to people for no reason. Anyway,
at the very least, though, you have to admit that, the reconciliation once he becomes good again was a bit of a tearjerker, right?
No, yeah, I thought this movie was great. I really like this movie. I'll definitely probably go recommend it and watch this movie with the person I recommend it to. In my own personal opinion, I think it's the best movie for this entire week. But yeah, I thought this movie was very charming. No matter how much I may have shitted on it, I did think this movie was very charming. I liked the camaraderie they had in the movie, and I thought the acting was pretty good, and the character building was also pretty alright, so.
Yeah, I honestly don't know why you said it's not the best movie we watched this week. I'm not going S tier, okay? I'm not going quite that high, no. But it's a high up there movie for me.
Yeah.
I like when they took the UFO for a spin. That was pretty
Oh, yeah, that shit was sweet. Honestly, also, again, with the, CGI and shit like that, the UFO looked really solid, okay? And the fucking scene where they go to Wendy's as well in it.
It's a little silly.
She was freaking sweet. Especially since I just love product placement when it's, when it's done right, okay? They actually, made a whole bit out of it here. And also it's Wendy's, okay? Which just makes it even better, so,
I'm also very certain, if I remember, because I think this movie came out in 2006, I think I remember a time period where there was a legitimate Wendy's commercial with, almost picture perfect that scene. So, I thought that was interesting.
I don't know. Dylan and I have really been doing the big chunk of the conversation here so far. How are you guys feeling about the film?
I want to talk about my favorite part of the movie, and that is the princess character. I think, funnily enough, despite being the youngest person, I think she's genuinely the best actor. Gives the best performance in this film. And I actually find, her character of being this little girl with super strength to be actually kind of compelling. I would love to see a movie or even a full TV show where it's just her and Tim Allen, because I think they had the best dynamic of any of the kid characters in Tim, and I find her just more interesting and, frankly, a better actor than anyone else.
I thought it was pretty funny how she was, the one in this movie that had the broadest costume set.
Mm-hmm.
I think Terrence is saying all this stuff because he respects the little girl for being able to lift more than him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he fears her.
Mm-hmm. She would
I show respect where it's due.
She's easily passing the 1,000-pound club.
Oh, yeah. She lifted a fucking forklift with 1.5 ton weights on it, so...
Alright, Death Battle, when's the next video of her fighting Goku?
Jackson, you have anything in particular to say? I feel like you haven't gotten much to say about this movie.
I think it's a fun family movie. It's got some good touching moments to it. I like the character arc of our Zoom character kind of accepting his past and working through that trauma with his newfound party. I like his connection to the little girl, maybe a bit of family come back to him after he lost his previous one. I think it's a cute, touching little fun romp family movie.
Well, are we ready to rank it then?
I believe so. Dylan, what are you ranking this one?
Hold on. Gotta get out. I should have had my notes at the ready. That is my fault. I gave this movie a solid B.
Whoa. That's pretty bonkers. Tanner, how about you, dude?
I gave this movie a D.
What?
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ, man. Jackson, how about you, dude?
God damn.
Give this one a D-.
What the fuck? Let's hear it, Nico. What is it?
Yeah,
whose side are you on here? What the fuck? You guys set me up. Again, the second time. This is bullshit.
These two specific events were unrelated. They just happened to go back to back.
You guys are all assholes.
We thought it'd be a little.
You guys got me excited. I thought you were gonna rate this movie. I wasn't expecting like high praise on this movie. You guys just made it sound better than you rated it.
No, I
yeah.
think
That was the
Jesus.
bit.
God damn it. Well, I mean,
Dylan,
it kind of. Huh?
just know, take some solace in the fact that one of my online friends loves this movie. He's a big
That's
fan
fine.
of it. You're not alone in liking this movie.
There's a movie that came out around this time that is somewhat similar to this, but I think it's a more serious tone movie, so I'm gonna try to remember the name of it.
Bring on the boom.
Did you end up rating this higher than Sky High?
Yes, I did. I said it was better than Sky High.
Anyways, the overall ranking for Zoom, we didn't really give our true thoughts on this film, but you guys...
This movie is boring and stupid and goofy and terrible. It's terrible. I will say my opinions on Princess were real. I actually think that
suck.
shit.
I hate all of you.
But yeah, other than that, this movie fucking sucks.
What did you guys rate fucking Sky? Hold on, let me use a fucking search bar.
I think
Search bar doesn't work
I
on
gave
this.
it like a B.
Hold
I
on
gave
a
it a
second.
fucking
There's
D.
no fucking way.
I think it's
C-
somewhere in the C
overall.
tier for
Sky
me.
High is significantly better than this.
100%.
I would
I-
agree, but I also don't think this is like an F tier movie, and I don't think I'd go
It's
that
definitely
far.
not an F tier movie.
Yeah,
The
no.
ratings on this film are like obscenely low, and I just don't think it deserves that. Okay.
Yeah, the like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes score are a bit harsh.
I think my issue with Sky High is I view it as a Disney Channel movie, and that's
And
part
you
of
don't view this as one?
no, because it didn't come out on Disney Channel.
That's all it takes.
Literally, what was the first thing I said about this movie as we were watching it?
Actually, Tanner, you said it seems like a Nickelodeon original.
Even worse.
I'm gonna need to go back and watch Sky High again, I guess. Well, I'll let you guys know.
The last time
I
you
don't
watched
know.
it, you were drunk, so like. Forgot
I
about
was
that.
trying to find something. I couldn't. I was like, I was
could-
either drunk
yeah,
or
I
I
guess
fell asleep. Damn it.
What's
The ruse
next?
is over.
Alrighty, now we're going to be talking about the 1987 film Predator, which Tanner picked.
That's
Coincidentally.
right.
Coincidentally.
Predator is a movie about a bunch of dudes and they're army men's, and they go into the jungle on a mission to kill some fucking drug dealers?
Probably.
Terrorists? Some kind of unknown threat. It doesn't matter. They're walking through the jungle. They find a bunch of guys that are on their side, and they're fucking slaughtered. Holy shit, their skin's been peeled off. That's mysterious. They show up at the terrorist camp, or the rebel. I don't know what these people are, but they show up at the camp, and they're like, okay, let's fuck them up. And boy, howdy do they. This is not a struggle whatsoever. They blast these motherfuckers away. They burn down the entire place. They blow them up. It's just, it's a fun time, you know. They kill them real good. And then there's a woman left, because they're like, well, we can't shoot a girl. And they bring her along, and as they're heading out, they get the feeling that something's after them. Something's weird. Something's wrong. And then one of them dies mysteriously, and they're like, what the fuck? How did that happen? And then they realize there's some kind of creature here, and he's hunting us, much like a predator would. And the predator kills them off one by one until we're left with just Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he has a big struggle. He covers himself in mud. He makes some traps. Boom, boom, bing. He fights the thing, and he eventually wins. He prevails until it activates a nuke and fucking blows them both up. And then the girl flies off, and
Arnold
end,
Schwarzenegger
I
escapes,
guess.
by the way.
Does he?
Yes.
How?
He ran
Yeah,
away.
you see him like standing there in the fog at the end.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
hanging dong between his legs and everything.
I literally don't even remember that.
No.
That's crazy.
That's in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ends, and we see him alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the ash and the helicopter coming down. I even remember saying, how did they find him in all this?
Oh, yeah.
They flew towards the giant nuke, though, Jackson.
Jesus, I guess my brain was just like, well, I guess they both died, and then
The predator.
I guess
won in the
I find
end.
the concept of him surviving that so inconceivable that I blocked out that part of the movie. But anyway,
that just dropped it 2 tiers for Tanner.
nah. And then my haiku for this film: big guns, bigger men, Hunted by an alien. What a sore loser. Yes, Dylan.
I would like to start the whole thing with, I like that this movie doesn't fall in the typical horror genre theme where people
Probably because it's not a horror movie.
Well, regardless,
And
what I'm
yet it
about to
does
say
still
will make
have some
more
of those like
sense.
slasher elements to it.
Yeah. But I like how it doesn't fall into the trope of people being dumb. Like they feel like something's watching them, which it is. And then somebody dies, but they're like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Like, well, how does he just disappear? And the lady's like, oh, the forest just came to life. And they refuse to believe it, but they know something's there. So they're playing with the thought that something dangerous is there. And, like, these guys aren't dying in dumb ways like we see in some of these horror slasher films that we've been seeing recently. So I can at least appreciate the movie for the fact of, you know, there's a struggle going on at least. But unfortunately, what we're also viewing is just there is a superior in this struggle, I guess if you would call it that. They're just doing the best that they can to survive against a threat they know nothing about. Go ahead, Tanner.
I largely agree on you. I even said this while we were watching. I was like, I appreciate that these guys aren't fucking idiots. Like, they seem largely competent. There is one death where I'm like, that's like a stupid movie thing, and that's when the Native American guy decides to just fucking hand-to-hand combat the Predator.
Yeah.
And we also don't get to see him fight it. That was lame as fuck.
Well, it also seemed like he died immediately, because it was... I actually do... That's part of one of my criticisms. I want to go back. That takes second to one of the other deaths that I thought was actually kind of dumb. It was when Mac, the big black guy, decided to go after it because he killed the one dude with the minigun. He's like, I'm gonna get revenge because he killed my brother. So, like, he's, like, crawling through, like, the trees or whatever, and then he sees, like, these red dots on his arm. I'm like, regardless of whether this is an alien creature or not, I feel like we're at the point in like, of technology in the world where red dots never mean anything good. So then not only does he notice the red dots on his arm, but he goes to crawl further to look where the red dots are coming from. Instead of what I think would be a normal human reaction is, knowing that red dot technology is never good, be like, oh shit, I should probably not be in the line of sight of this thing. And he gets capped immediately.
I am gonna look up when laser sights were invented.
That's probably a solid backing
Actually,
to my argument.
I guess I first have to know, is this movie set in the year that it came out?
They typically do that with these older movies, yes.
Yeah, just like Warriors.
I don't know what to say to that. But I guess I'll just go along. So the criticism that I mentioned, I feel
The
like
CGI.
they rushed. Yeah, the CGI was,
Like, in parts it looks, like, perfectly serviceable, you know, plainly passable, but in other parts, like, when the Predator's, like, first, like, shows up
The
and, like,
laser
murders a
weapon
guy.
is terrible.
Yeah.
In every scene.
Yeah, it's inaccurate.
Yeah.
It's not inaccurate. It's inconsistent, I guess I should say. In some scenes, it completely dismembers people. In another scene, it blows a fucking hole in this guy's chest cavity. In another scene, it hits Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is fucking plot armor at its finest. Literally seconds before that, shoots another guy, the wounded guy, in the face, and it doesn't blow his head off. It just kills him somehow without doing damage. And literally seconds later, it hits Arnold in the shoulder. He doesn't. It's not even disabled. Like, it's just. Maybe it grazed him. I don't know. It looked like it hit him.
It was a
It's just super
minor
inconsistent.
inconvenience.
Well, that, and like you could see, like, when the laser weapon misses sometimes, if it hits a tree or something, it causes a big ass explosion. Like, what the fuck? And it doesn't even seem like it has a charge time. But that's just outside the criticism. The real criticism I had outside of that was towards the end. What ends up happening is we get this really long, unnecessarily, in my opinion, unnecessarily drawn out scene where Arnold is fighting the Predator, which it would have been fine if the action was a little like faster pace. I feel like the ending, the pace just came to a breaching halt, and it gets super boring, even though they're fighting the whole time. This movie is pretty kick-ass, and then it gets to the end, and that's where it kind of dies for me. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think this movie's pretty kick-ass. Otherwise, anybody?
So, laser sights had already been invented, and this movie is in fact set the year it came out. So.
Okay.
Your point stands, Dylan.
I'll take it early. It's hit or miss on that.
What do you mean? That backs up your point exactly. This
Well,
is
if
the
it came
information
out-
you wanted to hear.
I know, but if it came out that year, I don't know. I guess I'll take it. It's whatever.
What are you talking about?
Never mind. Let's move
Your
on.
whole point is they would know what laser sights are, and I just confirmed that for you.
We're moving on.
He doesn't
I
understand.
appreciate it, Tanner. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
So Tanner, what were your thoughts on this film? I'd assume you were like way fucking into it because this is the most masculine film I've ever seen. Okay.
I was about to say I love how fucking masculine this movie is. I love how fucking I love how buff everyone is. You know, this is the kind of diversity I want to see in my movies, where yes, we have guys of different races getting along and they're all fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the special effects were pretty dated. The laser. So let me be very specific. The laser itself, where it's like a blue oval moving through the screen, whatever. I can kind of forgive that. When it hits someone and it does the little like bright orange splash that doesn't look anything like an explosion, that is whether I'm like, that looked terrible. Like, they should have just done a squib or something and not had it like an explosion effect on it. It looked truly bad. And then the cloaking was kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it looked really good. Sometimes it looked really bad.
Yeah, it just completely fucking took me out of the movie on several occasions there.
Yeah. And then the Predator vision, I'm kind of torn on. Because, like, if the point of the Predator vision is to make it seem like, okay, sometimes he can't tell what the fuck he's looking at, then good job. If that's not what they're going for, then it was terrible. But, because I believe I interpret the point of those scenes as to be like, okay, the Predator has become overly reliant on its technology, which is hindering its ability to find them, because sometimes, you know, its infrared and its fucking motion sensor or whatever the fuck visions it has don't always do the job that just looking at shit could. But I don't know if that's the point. And then I liked all the action scenes. I thought that very long extended sequence of them fucking up that camp was great. I really enjoyed that. And I like all of our characters. I think they're very charismatic. They're instantly identifiable as to here's their deal, here's what they do, here's their personality. I think they do a good job characterizing them, even though this is a pretty quick action flick. So yeah, overall, I really like this movie.
I think it's okay. It's a pretty decent film for the most part. Just like, you know, I don't particularly feel as though any of the characters are very compelling is the big thing. And like, you know, I don't know.
I think they're compelling for an action movie.
Yeah, but like, maybe that's just the problem, man. Maybe action movies just can't get into that upper echelon for me or something. It's tough to say. Maybe they're just a little too shallow for me, you know?
Nico's gonna big brain over Predator, but he couldn't do it with Midsommar.
Jackson, what did you think?
Kind of a combination of all of you guys. I thought the action scenes were cool. I definitely think it's pretty slow paced, but that's just kind of how they made movies back in the day. The characters have like no depth at all, really, but it's an action movie, so who really cares? Kind of with Dylan on like the final fight scene. I like the idea behind it, but it was like really slow and took forever for anything to actually happen. And like half the straps didn't even work, which I think was, you know, it's kind of trying to make it seem realistic. And then also the fucking Predator is just like really inconsistent for me. Like how the fuck he even fell into like the really obvious trap in the first place of like a bunch of fucking dudes in the woods and like the big thing to stand on, and he got caught in that. How the fuck did that even happen if he's like constantly watching them, presumably? I don't understand why the woman had to be a character at all. I don't really know what purpose she served. It's also weird when like he first attacked them and it kind of seemed like he was defending the girl at first, because like the guy was trying to, you know, do something to her, and then he like killed the dude as like an act of self-defense maybe for her. I don't know. Weird motivations. They don't ever really explain much about the Predator. They need some fucking alien, and I guess he's just there to hunt people for sport. Why though? I don't know. I don't know anything about this franchise at all, so it all just seemed really weird to me and kind of pointless.
I mean, to a certain degree, I definitely kind of prefer it that way. I'm happy that we didn't get a scene of like some random guy out there in the woods who's like, I know exactly what that thing is. Here's everything you need to know about it. Here are its weaknesses, or like some random fucking alien.
No, I think the big thing is I'm not necessarily taken out of it. If anything, I like antagonists that don't have a lot of depth to them.
Yeah.
Or not depth. I like them to have a lot of unknowns because
Yeah.
it makes them more threatening, especially from like the perspective of the characters. It's a much more domineering figure when you don't know anything about it. You don't know its abilities or anything. Especially if you're like some stalker running around like an invisibility in the woods. That's fucking horrifying. But it just seems inconsistent, like with the invisibility thing. I don't like how they do invisibility in movies, where like they have like the weird screen wobbly effect. Can the people see that or not? Like it looks like they can see it.
In this, I think it's pretty clear they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
But like my big thing with the Predator is like everything about them seems so primitive, which is weird to me for a space traveling race that's going around fucking around with their time. It's hunting people for sport for no reason. Why do they seem so fucking primitive? Maybe that's just like they didn't have like back in the 70s or whatever this film came out, and they didn't really have like a concept of like what it could be some more like high tech shit. But like it seemed really really fucking basic for what it is. It also just seemed like it wasn't really that smart, which maybe is like kind of the point of it. I don't know. I think this movie was all right. I think it's entertaining.
Yeah. Two things just based on what I heard. So I think the only purpose for the woman in this movie was she had like a throwaway line, and by a throwaway line I mean it was like a decent minute or two or whatever, where she was talking about, oh, in summers when it's hot, this thing shows up and kills the men and then makes them trophies, and we call it the collector of trophies, or makes trophies of men, or whatever they called it. So there was
all
that.
of that.
So
it's a very
that's
long
kind of
title.
I don't feel like we really needed that world building though.
Yeah, and then the only reason she didn't die, it was actually a throwaway line later on in the movie where it killed the wounded guy, and then she grabbed the guy's SMG that was on his body and went to go shoot it, and then Arnold grabs it, throws it away. He's like, "Oh no, he doesn't think you're a threat, just run." And so she runs away. So I think it's presumably the Predator's only going after the dudes because they look more threatening, and also they're armed and look like they could actually do something to him, and, you know, perceivably a threat to the Predator, I think is what because he wants a challenge.
That's fair enough. The resolution on his thermal vision is so dog shit though. How the fuck can he even tell people apart at all? Like they're just like big glowing blobs to him, basically.
It was the 80s, man. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I think.
Are we supposed to interpret it that the thermal vision's a lot higher resolution than what we're seeing it as?
I don't think
so. No.
Okay, then I find that point hard to believe, but I see what you're going for with it, or see what they're going for if that's what the intention was.
I know a little more about this world. I don't know much more. All I know about the Predator race is that they pride themselves in hunting everything. That's why eventually the Predator versus Alien movie comes out, because I think it's in the second movie you see like skulls of the aliens on a Predator ship. So they just go around collecting trophies of different races, and that's how they show their macho or whatever to their own species and all that. So that's like their whole thing, I guess.
Yeah, and I do think you do kind of get hints of that in this film. When, like, he does fight that Native American dude. It's like, you know, that guy's, like, challenging him. And so the Predator does go, like, a little beyond his, like, typical means where he, like, fucking rips the guy's spine out or whatever the fuck, you know, to be like, look, I got a trophy because I actually fought this guy in real combat or whatever the fuck.
Didn't shoot him and shit.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out the costume. I think the Predator costume is really good.
Yeah, I think it looks very nice.
Good.
Have you guys seen what the original Predator costume was supposed to look like?
No.
It's
maybe.
Fucking goofy.
Does it look like the werewolf guy in the Swamp Thing?
No, it's worse, in fact.
I would like to take this time to say R.I.P. Carl Weathers. You'll be dearly missed.
We forgot to mention it.
Well, I figured I'd mention it now.
Carl Weathers died this week, the week we watched this movie.
Hopefully this does not become a reoccurring thing at Guapish at the movies.
I sure hope not.
Yeah, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. You will be missed.
You will live on forever in Predator.
Alright, so here was like the original, one of the original costumes they were using for it.
There's no way.
No.
What the fuck is that? How did they turn that into what it is now?
So they're actually using this for I'll find like the more so like the actual thing here.
That looks like that looks animated.
So the entire purpose behind that costume actually was for the invisibility, because they needed something to like keyframe out, and so they couldn't use like blue, they couldn't use green because of the fucking like sky in the jungle, so they went with red instead. But it looks really fucking goofy, and so they didn't end up going with that design. This is more so it was going to actually end up looking like it was going to just be like a big bug man.
That's not terrible. I'm gonna open this up.
I don't like. I mean, I think the design they ended up with is vastly.
It is
superior.
infinitely better.
It is better. I imagine this more so being in some kind of like horror movie where there's like a big monster.
Yeah, that's much more horror adjacent.
It's much more Predator-esque though. Like that thing looks like a predator.
Either
I
way.
don't know.
Anyway.
As for the rankings of this movie, though, like, you know, I didn't have much good to say about it because I generally feel like you guys said the good bits, you know, here, but I didn't hate this movie at all. I'm gonna give it a B+.
That's higher than I thought you were going to give it.
I also gave it a B+.
Whoa!
I'm giving it an A+.
Yikes.
Dylan, what are you giving it then?
Alright, as was previously stated, I thought Zoom was the best movie we watched this week.
Whoa.
Yikes. I didn't think this was a bad movie, but like I said, the ending really drug it down for me. I gave this movie a C+.
Jesus.
Unhinged. Anyway.
That puts it at a B+ overall, unsurprisingly.
It was a surprise to me.
Fair enough.
Crazy.
Nico and I were the middle ground this week. I did not expect that. I thought we were going to be the lowest.
Yeah, same here. I would 100% was expecting Dylan to really love this movie.
I love this movie, but then the ending hits, and I'm just like, why do I
The
hate
ending brings it down that much?
It's just so boring, dude. Like, I get on the verge of falling asleep once the ending hits. And it gets so stupid, too. Like, it just gets super inconsistent, like I was saying before. So...
Hot damn. Well, for our final movie that we watched this week, we checked out the 1979 film The Warriors, okay? The Warriors. This is a film that I picked out, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Luckily, it's a fairly simple and straightforward film plot-wise, you know? So the film follows the Warriors. They're a gang in the distant future of New York City, okay? They're going to a big old jamboree where all of the gangs are meeting up here, okay? And because, like, the leader of the biggest gang in the city is wanting to rally them together to fight against the police so they can all take over the city. It's going to be crazy, guys. Can you dig it?
I was wondering where that quote came from.
That's right, it came from this movie, Dylan. But unfortunately, he gets assassinated, and the Warriors get pinned for the blame. So now they need to make it back to their own turf so that they can finally be safe. But it's like 50 or maybe even 100 miles away. How are they going to make it there between all these other gangs and police? Well, they eventually do. Like, you know, a few of them get, like, killed and arrested along the way, but they make it back, you know, and they even bring a whore with them. That's the movie, guys. That's the Warriors.
This is such a weird movie. What the fuck is this shit? Nico, why did
Hold
you
on
pick
a
this?
second,
I was really
Jackson.
hoping your guys... Huh?
Yeah.
I've got a haiku.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, true. We forgot the haiku. My bad.
Hit us with that haiku.
Thank you. This is my haiku inspired by The Warriors. Lo, a call to arms. A legend dead, hunt them down. A liar revealed.
Whoa.
So as you were saying, Jackson, yes, this is a very strange film, is it not?
Yeah, what the fuck is this shit? Why'd you pick this?
Because I enjoy it quite a bit. This film is a cult classic, in fact. Actually, it was on its way to become just a general classic. It was supposed to do, like, really well. But, like, you know, when the film initially launched in theaters, it was doing really well. It was selling, like, hotcakes, okay? But then genuine, like, gang warfare started breaking out at a couple of theaters.
Oh.
And so this film ended up getting, like, just immediately pulled from, like, every theater because they were terrified to show the movie.
That's fun.
So...
Think of how much better this country would be if, like, gangs were, like, as they are in The Warriors,
They're
though.
just so
These
easily
gangs are-
identifiable.
Yeah, they're easily identifiable, and they just... all they kind of do is walk around and fight each other. Like, with fists, you know?
I mean, it sounds like they like have their own turf and they're planning on taking over the city. So, like, allegedly, they probably do, like, actually, like, you know, terrorize the civilians as well a decent bit.
We never really see that, though.
No, we don't.
I got a
Like,
dumb
even,
question.
like, we see regular civilians, like, on the bus or whatever. Presumably, they should be able to recognize, oh, these are gang members. but they don't seem that concerned about it.
Yeah.
I think the most we see of it is when that one gang robs that one random store, and that was about it.
Oh, yeah,
They, like,
yeah.
take, like,
Yeah.
a candy bar from her or something.
The most nefarious act they could have committed.
I got a dumb question.
What's up, Dylan?
What's your question?
This movie was set in the future?
Yes.
Yeah, it says in the near future. Unfortunately, they were unable to predict cellular telephones, which means this movie did not come across as timeless as the director hoped.
I mean, like, even when the movie came out, I don't think that there's anything about it that would hint towards it actually taking place in the future if you just completely removed that line.
There was nothing that showed, like, hey, this is somewhere in the future, because it looked as old as the movie was.
I think it's a fair bet on the director's part that there will always be some city out there that is completely run down and gang infested.
Yeah, I think that it was just supposed to give it like a slight dystopian tinge, maybe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm glad this movie is as simple as you explained, because I felt the whole time I was missing something.
No, this isn't like a
movie
Midsummer or something. It's a very
it's very straightforward.
it wears its heart on its sleeve, you know.
Yeah, this movie wasn't very engaging. I didn't find
Fuck
it very
you.
I didn't yeah, it was kind of boring. I
had
really
a
find it that
strong
interesting.
feeling you'd think that way about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I get the plot. I get the camaraderie of this gang. I get the idea that this gang in particular is really good at fighting people, and they usually come out on top. Only, like, one of them dies and another one gets arrested. That's kind of it.
Two of them die, Dylan. Their leader also dies.
Was it? No. There was just the one guy that got thrown on the train tracks. Where'd the other guy die?
Like right at the beginning of the movie, he gets elbowed to death at the place because he gets accused of murdering the big leader.
I must have missed that part.
Bummer.
Or maybe I didn't recognize him. I don't know. I wasn't super attached to any of the characters. It was kind of whatever.
But you loved the whore.
No. I thought the whole movie was kind of whatever. It wasn't engaging. It didn't demand my attention, so there wasn't anything really to latch onto. I was just kind of here for the ride, I guess.
I'm sorry this movie didn't have a big ice storm for you, okay? To keep you engaged in it.
And then, like, they made it back to where they were at the beginning of the movie, and then, like, they were like, let's go to the beach, and then the warriors set up the guy who assassinated the gang leader, and then all of a sudden they somehow managed to hide like hundreds of gang members behind a sandbank or something to hear it. Like, what?
No, I think it's just, they beat the guy by throwing the knife in him, then the big gang shows up and they're just like, hey, that guy actually did it, and
I don't know how you could just Uno
for some reason.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know how you can just Uno reverse the last 24 hours. Yeah, that's why I was assuming it was a setup or whatever.
My assumption was they didn't hear him admit it.
I always run into this issue with older movies where I am trying to figure out if the voice lines are separate from, how do I portray this accurately? The acting lines, I guess, basically having voiceovers because their words were desynced with what they were doing or saying.
Yeah, I didn't notice any of that sort of issue at all.
Often lines are ADR'd.
So, I don't know. I don't, whenever I see that in a movie, I know it can also just do with sound production, sound quality in the past. It just kind of takes me out of the movie as well. It's kind of like, whatever. This movie's off to a rough start, but...
Dude, this movie was so fucking silly, though. I love this shit, okay? You have those fucking, like, you have those comic book panels popping up here and there. That one of them just says, like, oh, shit! That stuff's pretty silly. You have them using, like, their lingo of back in the day, like, them boppers, okay? Boppers. The guy saying, can you dig it? That shit's fucking great, dude. I'm a big fan of all that shit.
I find it funny how abrupt the comic panels are.
Yeah.
Like, they will just come on with no lead up at all.
I mean,
there are a couple times where I'm like, oh, okay, where I'm like, this scene is gonna keep going, and then it's a comic panel on to the next thing. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're done over there.
The comic panel art is good. I will give this movie that.
I thought it was terrible, but in
the
a charming
comic book
way.
panels also weren't in the original film either. That was a director's cut
Original
thing.
film?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh.
We watched the director's version, Dylan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For me, I thought this movie was a fun romp. I think the characters and the setting is pretty entertaining. The music, I think, is very good. I think this movie had the best music out of all 3 movies we saw.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Smash Mouth, though, dude.
Did you forget about Smash Mouth, Tanner?
I pretty distinctly remembered that.
Rest in peace, the lead singer of Smash Mouth as well.
I found it very funny how, like, every single gang is, like, very clearly, like, teenagers and shit.
Yeah.
Except the main gang, who is, like, exclusively grown men. I don't know why they decided to do that, but it's very funny to me.
Dude, the fucking gangs in this movie are fantastic, okay?
Yeah,
Like,
they're pretty
you have
entertaining.
shit like the fucking, just the guy rollerblading around for no reason. You have the baseball furies, guys. Did you like the baseball furies? Just
I
these
thought
guys
those were
dressed in
pretty
baseball
hilarious.
outfits, just with wacky face paint on, which has nothing to do with them being baseball players, but they have it for some reason. It's fucking
Hey,
great.
it's a gang thing, man. It has nothing to do with baseball.
They still refer to it as colors.
Yeah.
You know, as if they're wearing handkerchiefs
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever. The action in this movie is hit or miss.
The choreography is bad.
I don't know if I think there are a couple scenes where it works for me. A lot of times it doesn't, and it just does not look like hits are landing, or they're just doing weird moves.
Yeah.
Let's say, where I'm like, why would a human being trying to win a fight do that? And yet the plot is almost non-existent.
The plot is there, dude. It's a story that doesn't exist, okay?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Sure, whatever. But I think it's fun. It has its charm.
It definitely does. The big thing you have to give this movie is that it has its very own style, okay?
True.
As for you, though, Jackson, you have many thoughts on this one at all?
No, not really.
I don't know if
That
that
was
bodes
a
well.
movie.
Yeah, it was something I witnessed. I think it was entertaining. I think it was very weird. I liked the costume design and the general quirkiness of it. But yeah, no, its plot was like non-existent. There really isn't like a through line to grasp at all. Yeah, and I'm ignoring everything you just said. Characters are weird. I don't really I think the weirdest thing for me is like the big gang of a bunch of black guys, and they seem like this massive character. They're hunting them down or something, and like they're just a total nothing burger at the end of the movie. This movie is like totally fucking like it's I don't know. It's like an exercise in pointlessness.
Well, you see, this film is it's an
pointlessness.
urban fantasy. It's a modern retelling of the Odyssey.
Yeah, who fucking cares?
Man, I relate to Jackson on so many levels right now. I'm curious to see what your rating is and see if it's exactly like mine.
Speaking of curious of what your rating is, Jackson, what's your
No,
rating?
Dylan, what's your rating?
Okay, let's do it. Yeah. This movie was a ride to sit through, I guess. I gave it a C-.
Wow. Okay,
that
Jackson,
bad.
reveal it to us. What's your rating then?
I'm definitely not that low, but I give it a C.
That low.
Just right
I
next
think
to
I
it.
think it's all right. I think it's weird, and I think the weirdness stands on its own. But a lot of the movies just kind of boring and pointless.
Yeah, I felt like it was just a pointless movie. It was like made for nothing.
Nico, let me hear yours.
I'm gonna give it the exact same rank as Predator, a B+.
Okay.
Huh.
I think I am gonna go... I wrote down 2 ranks because I'm really in between 2 here.
It's like S+ and F-.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in between
There is
one
no
of those.
in between.
There's exclusively in between there, Dylan. I'm gonna go C+.
Whoa.
Damn.
I was thinking about a B-, but after this discussion, I'm like, you know what? It is kind of weak in most realms that make movies a movie.
But it's a fun. It's
It's
run.
fun.
I
It's
don't
a
think I'll
fun
ever
romp.
watch. I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again. But I think it was a fun experience for the first time.
I literally write down the words "fun romp," so
Yeah, I think this is a movie that I'd probably turn on in the background while I do like house chores.
there you go. Yeah, and then when you look up, you're like, man, that's weird.
Would you guys ever show this movie to a significant other? I would say
Yes.
personally no, because I think the girl would be like, "Holy shit, these guys are fucking hot. Why can't you be more like them?" But I could never.
I think it's an experience at least. I think it needs to be viewed at least once, unlike some other movies I can't say that about.
I would be shocked if my significant other had not already seen this movie.
It is a very
I would-
famous one.
I've never heard of this movie, so...
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever
Anyone
heard of it.
anyone has heard of this one.
Yeah.
I was really hoping it was going to be about the Warrior Cats, man. You're really had me disappointed there. Yeah, this movie landed at a C+.
Not too shabby.
Sounds about right.
Time to pick some new movies for the next week. Holy cow.
Dylan! What movie
Just
are you
cut out.
picking?
I know we said we wouldn't necessarily do this. However, I don't view this in the same vein. I really, really, really want to watch Godzilla vs. Kong, and I've been diving into too much Godzilla content, and this movie keeps coming up where I don't want to get spoilers. So I am going with Godzilla vs. Kong.
I don't think that's
Yeah,
within
no,
the
you
rules,
can't do
buddy.
that.
Okay, well, we just...
Yeah.
Fine.
In the same franchise.
Can I pick it next time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, well, come back to me. I gotta run the random number generator.
What the fuck is the name of the movie? Oh yeah, I'm picking Pay It Forward.
Whoa.
Oh,
What the fuck is that?
Maybe heard of that one.
You don't know what this movie is?
Hang on.
What year was it?
I'm
No.
figuring it out. I'm looking at my list. I wanted to watch this one, but I didn't pick it specifically. It is the 2000 film Pay It Forward.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know if I'm familiar with this one.
Yeah, I don't think I know anything about this movie. It is the little boy from Sixth Sense, though.
Holy
I'm
cow.
actually shocked that not all of us have seen this movie. I thought this movie was a lot more famous than it was, apparently.
Let's see here. We are watching Race to Witch Mountain.
Ooh.
Whoa!
The remake or the original?
Whichever one has Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it.
The remake.
Okay. I didn't know there was an original.
Is this a racing movie?
No.
Yeah, they're racing to Witch Mountain.
No
Yeah,
fucking
they're racing.
way.
They're racing to Witch Mountain. You're right. I lied to you.
That's bullshit, man. Okay, anyways, and now we're going to be rolling the Patreon pick.
Oh!
You can be on this list for $1 a month, guys. Just letting you know beforehand.
Yeah,
And
you'll hear more about
this
that
week's
later.
lucky winner is Mr. Petit. Thank you for requesting the 2011 film Raid.
Shadow Legends?
No.
No.
Damn.
The full name is The Raid Redemption.
Huh.
Well, there we go.
Wow.
We're watching that one this week as well. Those are the 3 for next week.
2011. The mid to late 2000s getting a lot of love this week.
We'll see.
And if you also like to give us a little bit of love, then Tanner will tell you exactly what you need to do right now.
That's right. For only $1 a month, you guys get early access to every episode, as well as exclusive access to our pre-Guap show. You also get to join our Discord, where you can chat with us, send in your own topics you want us to discuss in the episode, and you get to send in topic requests, just like "That's it, I'm quitting the fucking podcast. You guys are all assholes" did this week. You also get 500 slime coin, and you get your name read out at the end of each episode, just like I'm gonna do, I guess. Thank you very much to Netta Gant, Raheem Rajawani, Kyler Nikolai, guys, gonna be honest, I raped your cats, Top Ramen Man, Joshua Bean, "That's it, I'm quitting the fucking podcast, you guys are all assholes!" Tutbot, Lucas Ledette, Hunter, and Jacob Edwards. Thank you very much.
That's right. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring-a-ding that bell, smash that like button just like Steven Crowder allegedly did to his wife, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.